position where I can support our law enforcement community, because there are so many folks in that community who have made a positive difference in our city. On today, we celebrate and salute Lieutenant Sheila Celius, who I'm going to ask to come forward for a second and have a seat right here at the table, with whomever you'd like to have with you. In fact, folks, I'm going to tell you that the camera is showing here, so why don't y'all come behind her and let's have a little vision that the media can see with folks standing right behind her as I make this proclamation presentation. And I want you to know that that includes family, because you're going to be in the photo, whoever is here.
Thank you. Yes, of course.
Alrighty, on this day, we salute on her retirement Lieutenant Sheila Celius, and we say thank you for all that you've done over the years to support this department. We're certainly moving in the right direction in many respects as a city. A lot of that has to do with the law enforcement community, the work that has been done that is professional, the kind of work that you engaged in during your years with the department. So I say good morning to you and thank you very much. Before I even read this proclamation, I'm going to hear from Chief Gernon and then going to hear from you afterwards. Chief.
Thank you, Councilmember, and thank you to the Council for taking the time to recognize such a stellar employee. 28 years of service to this community as a New Orleans police officer, and then several years before that as a sheriff's deputy. Sheila has dedicated her entire adult life to public service. She's one of those leaders that really understood that her role was not to seek the limelight or to be out in front, but to build the foundation so that her people could be successful. One of the adages that we have in leadership is that Sheila is one of those supervisors that would build the runways so that her people could soar in their jets and do their jobs well. And she did. Her last 7 years in the police department, she led the Special Victims Division, which consists of some of the most heinous crimes that detectives see: sex crimes, child abuse, elderly abuse, domestic violence. And she got that unit into full compliance with the consent decree monitors way before the rest of the police department came along. And it was really her work, her tenacity, and her dedication to the survivors. You can see that here. A lot of the members from the Family Justice Center are here, as well as her former colleagues. I mean, it is a testament to a supervisor when not only your subordinates, but stakeholders from across the spectrum of organizations that you work for come up to kind of show their support and show their love for her. So I want to personally thank you, Sheila. She and I served together during Katrina. She was a veteran detective when I was a rookie in the 1st District. I know everybody behind us has stories. Former Chief John Thomas, former Chief Jeanette Williams, former Chief Lawrence Dupree. Everybody has, those stories about how Sheila's leadership really kind of shaped this unit into what we expected it to be, and a division that we can be proud of. So again, thank you for recognizing her work and her lifelong work here.
Thank you, Chief. And we can't say thank you enough. I also want to thank you for the last 7 years. I'm the founder of an organization called Voices of the Victims of Crime. And the victims of crime sometimes have been ignored, not as much now maybe as in the past, and there always needs to be a voice for them. And by your compassion and your sincerity and your motivation, you've helped victims of crime feel that in the midst of the most challenging time in their life, that there's at least somebody else who's out there to support them. So especially the last 7 years, but for all 28 years, we say thank you very much.
Thank you.
A few words from you.
Good morning, and thank you, Councilmember Green. There's not much more I can say after the Chief gave such a good presentation on my career. I'm very thankful for this opportunity to be honored for simply doing what my sworn duty to represent and serve my community. I have been very blessed throughout my career to be mentored, a very strong leadership, and some of them are even here today to support me. Former Deputy Superintendent John Thomas, former Deputy Superintendent Lawrence Dupree, and of course my current Deputy Superintendent Nicholas Gernon. Without their mentorship, I don't think I would have become the leader that I became, and I just hope and appreciate everything that everybody's doing for me today, simply because I just did my job.
I'd like to hear from everyone else, but I'm going to ask two special people to come forward to the mic. Thomas and Dupree, come to that mic and speak to the public about the contributions of Lieutenant Sheila Celius.
I thought if I wore my send-off shirt, you'd give me a break.
You're a smart man.
So, I met Sheila a while back when we was in the 3rd District, when she was a new sergeant. And I had the opportunity to kind of groom her. My leadership style is a lot different than a lot of people. I'm kind of laid back, but I'm always watching, and I'm always trying to teach and train. And so I poured into her that I knew she would be a good leader at some point. And as she matriculated through the ranks, she became even more than what I expected from a leader. She was very firm, but she was very fair. And I appreciated that. And she was by the book, and she walked the straight and narrow. And that's all you can ask of a leader, is just show and lead by example. And that's what Sheila did. And you had a very, very productive career. And I'm glad to see it come to this point.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dupree.
Good morning. Keep it short and sweet. I would have dressed up if I knew I would have had to speak, but congratulations, Lieutenant Sheila Celius, well-deserved vacation, and you're going to enjoy yourself on the other side of retirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So whereas the city of New Orleans is renowned for its food, festivals, famous citizens such as Lieutenant Sheila Celius, and foreign visitors, and whereas the City Council takes great pride in paying tribute to events and activities, now therefore be it proclaimed by the City of New Orleans that the New Orleans City Council today recognizes proudly Lieutenant Sheila Celius. Congratulations on a well-earned retirement from the New Orleans Police Department after 28 years of extraordinary service. You leave behind a legacy that few will ever match. From leading the Special Victims Unit to helping shape initiatives like Brian's Call, you earned the respect of everyone around you through your integrity, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to doing what was right. When others needed answers, you were the one that they called. When friendship was needed, you stepped forward. You didn't seek recognition, you earned it through action, professionalism, and service. And all of that is on this proclamation, and it's signed by all 7 members of the City Council. And in behalf of the entire citizenry of the entire city, I say thank you very much for 28 years well served, and thank you for all of your commitment and motivation, and know that you made a tremendous difference in the city and that we appreciate it. Can we give a round of applause to Lieutenant Sheila? Hey everybody, we're gonna take a super photo. I'm gonna ask my point person how you want us to do it. We're gonna try to get in as many people as we can.
You guys just come up closer to the table. Some of you guys can come around. Some of you guys can stay back there.
One sec, let me start. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. Madam Clerk.
Roll call. Council President Moreau.
Here.
Vice President Willard. Councilmember McCarron.
She's over there in the corner.
Councilmember Harris. Councilmember King. Councilmember Green.
Here.
Councilmember Hughes. We have 6 members. We have a quorum.
Thank you. First up, we'll have, we'll have the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, we thank you as we pause at the beginning of this meeting, O God, to acknowledge your presence and to thank you for the privilege of serving your citizens. So, Father, we recognize that true leadership is measured not by power, but by a commitment of justice, humility, and the welfare of your people. So, Father, today, we ask for your wisdom to rest upon every member of this council. Grant them clear minds to discern what is right, courageous hearts to do what is just, and compassionate spirits to hear the voices of all those who call the city of New Orleans home. Father, help every discussion to be guided by respect, every decision to be rooted in integrity, and every action to reflect a sincere desire to strengthen our city. So, Father, we pray for the citizens of New Orleans. Bless our families, bless our neighborhoods, our schools, our businesses, our homes, our houses of worship. Lord, we ask for your protection over those who serve our city each day. Pray for our police officers, our firefighters, our EMS, sanitation workers, oh God, and all of those who labor faithfully behind the scenes to keep our city safe, clean, and moving forward. So, Father, we pray today for our fallen service members. Bless their families during this most difficult time. Grant them peace that only you can provide. So, Father, as we begin this meeting, may we ask not for personal gain, but for common good, not for division, but for understanding, not convenience, but to do what is right. May all that is said today bring honor to you and blessing to all of those who are in attendance. We ask this in your holy name, in Jesus we pray. Amen, and thank God.
Thank you, Alder Simmons. I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need to,
Consent agenda. We have a communication from Aaron Spears. This may be received. We have a communication from Jeffrey Swartz. This may be received and referred to the Economic Development and Special Development Projects Committee. We have a communication from Cyril Mango. This may be received and referred to the Criminal Justice Committee. We have a communication from Cyril Mango. This may be received and referred to the Criminal Justice Committee. We have a communication from Tammy Washington. This may be received and referred to the Economic Development Special Development Projects Committee. We have a communication from Jeffrey Swartz. This may be received and referred to the Economic Development Special Development Projects Committee. We have a report of Caitlin Temrick. This may be received. We have a report of Caitlin Temrick. This may be received. We have a report of Caitlin Temrick. This may be received. We have a report of Cassandra B. Robert. This may be received. We have a report of Kaya Howard. This may be received. We have a report of Jennifer Avegno. This may be received. We have a report of Micah Inks. This may be received. We have a report of Robert D. Rivers. This may be received. Hearing date A626. We have ordinance calendar 34,474 by Councilmember King, municipal address 636 through 650, North Broad Street, zoning docket 3926. We have ordinance calendar 35,475 by Councilmember Harris, municipal address 2819 through 2821 Jackson Avenue, zoning docket 4426. We have ordinance calendar 35,476 by Councilmember Green, municipal addresses 4235 through 37 Turo Street and 2610 through 16 Mandalone Street, zoning docket 4526. We have ordinance calendar 35,484 by Councilmembers Harris, Morrell, Willard, McCarron, and King by request. Budget Audit Board of Review Committee recommended approval. We have ordinance calendar 35,485 by council members Harris, Morrell, Willard, McCarron, and King by request. Budget Audit Board of Review Committee recommended approval. We have motion M26-293 by council members Harris, Morrell, Willard, and McCarron by request. Budget Audit Board of Review Committee recommended approval. This is all matters on consent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have any cards? Okay, I will move to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Councilmember Harris. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Oh, hold on.
We need one more.
Sam, pop in there and grab Jacob. All right, moved by me, seconded by Councilmember Harris. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Approved, 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Regular agenda, item 1. We have HDLC appeal of 2663 Iberville and 206 through 10 North Broad Street has been withdrawn at the request of the applicant. Council members, give us 1 second to get the system caught up.
Can we just read through the deferrals maybe for the time being?
It shouldn't take that long. We could. At the top of page 11, we have item 2, legislative grouping HDLC appeal of Granville Sims III, owner-manager of Granville Sims Construction Company, LLC, requesting to appeal the Historic District Landmarks decision to deny the retention of deteriorated masonry and stucco for property located at 510 Ray Street. We have motion M26-290 by Councilmember Harris, approving the applicant's request, denying the applicant's request at 510 Ray Street and affirming the HDLC's decision.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. HDLC, will you brief us on your report?
Yes, the applicant is requesting the retention of the current condition of the masonry and stucco, citing the want to keep the historic look of the deterioration. However, the HDLC guidelines do not allow for maintaining the appearance of delaminated stucco. Further, the brick at this building is soft lake brick and is showing signs of delamination, powdering, and missing mortar joints. While staff appreciates the aesthetic concern of the applicant, the main interest of the HDLC in this matter is the level of deterioration of the masonry. Unfortunately, this look of deterioration has long been romantically associated with a quaint New Orleans mystique that is understandably appealing to many. However, in reality, it is the result of moisture intrusion that indicates masonry deterioration. If left unaddressed, this can lead to the failure of the material, which is why it is referred to as demolition by neglect, as can be indicated in several recent partial building collapses around New Orleans. Best practice would be to repoint all of the failing and missing mortar joints and have a new coat of HDLC-approved stucco applied to all elevations. However, we cannot require that the exposed masonry on the right and rear elevations that do not have a history of being encapsulated with stucco and have new coat of stucco, although staff would recommend it. Staff recommends denial of the retention to maintain the current level of deterioration of the masonry and recommends at least the mortar is repointed and the delaminated stucco is repaired.
Thank you. This motion affirms the HDLC's decision of denial and denies the applicant's request to retain deteriorated masonry and stucco. As the HDLC noted, the deterioration is the result of moisture intrusion and indicates masonry deterioration. I encourage the applicant to heed the HDLC's recommendation to repoint the mortar and repair the delaminated stucco on the building. Accordingly, I'm moving to affirm the HDLC's decision. I've moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Council Vice President Willard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6 yeas.
Item 4, legislative grouping HDLC appeal of Granville Sims III, owner management of Granville Sims Construction Company. requesting to appeal the Historic District Landmark's decision to deny the retention of deteriorating masonry and stucco, deteriorating entry gates, and inappropriate uplighting fixtures for property located at 1510 Religious Street. We have motion M-26-292 by Councilmember Harris, denying the applicant's request at 1510 Religious Street and affirming the HDLC's decision.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. I presume that this is the same reason as the prior item.
In regards to the deteriorated masonry stucco, there are also items related to deteriorated entry gates, fluorescent tube uplighting, and a mini split.
Okay, great. This motion affirms the HGLC's decision of denial and denies the applicant's request to retain multiple deteriorated items and inappropriate uplighting fixtures installed without a certificate of appropriateness at a landmark commercial building. So I'll move. Can I get a second? Seconded by Council President Morrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5 yeas. Thank you.
We have item 6, legislative group and zoning docket 4226, city council motion M-2693, requesting to amend the definition of dwelling small multifamily affordable in Article 26, Section 26.6 to include not only affordable housing units offered for rental, but also dwellings offered as permanently affordable for sale housing and by not-for-profit community land trusts offering long-term ground leases respective of owners and leasers, and consider related additional amendments to set reasonable requirements for this use, including but not limited to amendments to the use standards contained in Article 20, Section 20.3.SSS in the use tables throughout the CZO. The proposed text amendment would apply citywide. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval. We have motion M-26-291 by Councilmember Harris, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 4226, subject to the recommendation made by the City Planning Commission.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. CPC, will you brief us on your report?
Good morning, Councilmember. The zoning docket 4226 is a request to include affordable for sale housing by nonprofits and community land trusts in small multifamily affordable dwellings. Currently, the small multifamily affordable dwelling only contemplates the affordable housing unit as the rental unit, not for sale unit. The request would permit the affordable unit to be for sale, but only in the circumstance the small multifamily affordable is a community land trust operated by a nonprofit. So in other words, only in very specific conditions. The for sale unit would have a higher area medium income and longer affordability period than the rental unit. The request was heard at the May 26 CPC meeting where the Commission unanimously adopted the request as recommended by staff.
Thank you. The small multifamily affordable dwelling provides a critical low-density path to affordable housing that blends seamlessly into the fabric of existing neighborhoods, offering opportunities to live in areas that are otherwise underserved by affordable housing. We previously asked CPC to review options for sale permanently affordable units within this model, but CPC considered only the question of whether this should constrain the existing program, not enhance it. Accordingly, we offered a more nuanced approach for CPC to consider whether allowing nonprofit community land trusts to operate permanently affordable for sale housing within the small multifamily affordable dwelling model would be advisable, which is the motion here before you today. This request allows families to build equity and wealth while ensuring that the dwelling units in question remain affordable upon resale. Is there any public comment? If not, I will move. Can I get a second by Councilmember McCarron? All in favor? Any opposed? 5 yeas.
At the top of page 13, we have item 8, legislative grouping.
Forget clerk.
We're going to come back to that one. At the bottom of the page, item 10, zoning docket 5026, Esplanade Ventures LLC has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. At the top of page 14, item 11, zoning docket 5826 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. Item 12, zoning docket 6026 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. At the bottom of the page, Item 13, Legislative Group and Zoning Docket 6126, Ignatius J. Morales Jr., requesting a conditional use to permit a neighborhood commercial establishment in an HURD2 Historic Urban Two-Family Residential District on Square 17, lots 21A in the 6th Municipal District, bounded by Camp, Audubon Magazine, and Broadway Streets. Municipal address 131 Broadway Street. The recommendation of the CPC being for approval, subject to 3 provisos. We have motion M26-286 by Councilmember McCarron, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 6126, subject to 3 provisos recommended by the city planning staff report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. CPC?
This is an existing mixed-use structure that is located at the corner of Broadway Street and Camp Street. The immediate past use was a photography studio that operated there for 16 years until relocating in summer of 2025. The applicant proposes to find a new tenant and resume commercial operations as one of the 7 permitted use under the neighborhood commercial establishment category. Located in a residential zoning district, a neighborhood commercial establishment is deemed conditional use in the HURD2 district. As designed, the building will remain exactly the same, maintain its historic footprint, and the proposed commercial use is allowable under the master plan, which allows for businesses to be reestablished in non-residential structures. Overall, CPC considers the reuse of this non-residential structure to be a reinvestment, not only in the property itself, but in the quality of life of residents of surrounding properties. 2 speakers spoke in support of the request, citing the commercial use at this location had existed for approximately 100 years. Since the neighborhood commercial establishment use only allows a very limited amount of low-impact commercial uses and does not allow standard restaurants or bars, the Commission felt comfortable supporting the request and recommended approval subject to 3 provisos.
Thank you. And I have one comment card from Joe Morales.
Good morning. Thank you, council members. My name is Joe Morales, 4605 McWilliams Court, Plano, Texas, and I am the owner of 139 Broadway Street. I want to thank CPC staff and the Commission for their thorough review and their unanimous recommendation to approve this neighborhood commercial establishment designation. The property has operated as a neighborhood business location for well over a century. The building was constructed in 1912 with a storefront design, and city records document a grocery there by 1916, a use that continued for decades. Since 1970s, it has remained in continuous neighborhood-oriented use, including an arts council, a long-running picture frame shop, an art gallery, and most recently a photography studio for the last 16 years. My family has owned the property since 1923. I grew up across the street, I own adjacent property, and I remain actively involved in the area. I'm in New Orleans often and maintain a hands-on presence managing the property and supporting my brother who lives nearby and has a disability. The 2 immediately adjacent property owners, both neighbors I've known for over 20 years, have submitted letters of support. This request simply recognizes a long-standing use and allows it to continue. It will have a negligible impact on overall activity while continuing to serve and enhance the neighborhood as it has for over a century. Thank you for your time and consideration. I respectfully ask for your approval.
Thank you. Members, this property, as CPC said, lost its non-conforming status after a previous tenant moved out last year, so the owner is pursuing a conditional use to bring this property back into circulation. It has operated commercially since at least 1916 when it opened as a grocery store. This has a long history of low-impact neighborhood uses, most recently operated as a photography studio. The neighborhood commercial establishment will not increase traffic or noise given the long history of similar uses, and the upstairs unit will remain residential, meaning there's no substantial change, and we did not receive any opposition to this. So therefore, I move to approve motion M26-286, seconded by Councilmember Harris. All those in favor? Great. Any opposed? Great. 5 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
Item 15, zoning docket 6226 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. At the bottom of the page, item 16, zoning docket 6326 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. At the top of page 16, item 17, legislative grouping, ordinance calendar 34,385, along with motions M23-426 and M23-427 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. Item 12, ordinance calendar 35,117 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. Item 21, ordinance calendar 35,384 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. At the top of page 18, item 22, ordinance calendar 35,472 by Councilmember McCarron. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit a commercial short-term rental in an SLM Lake Area Marina District in the transient lodging interim zoning district for Boathouse 84, whose dimensions are 25 feet fronting on Breakwater Drive and 25 feet fronting on the water and 80 feet in the length of the street side boundary within the municipal yacht harbor marina of Lake Pontchartrain. Municipal address 8112 Breakwater Drive, and otherwise supervisor inspects thereto. Zoning docket 2226. Councilmember Morrell voted nay.
Thank you, members. These next two ordinances are just the ordinances from the STR that we previously voted on. If there's any questions, okay, I'll move. Can I get a second? Second. Seconded by Councilmember Harris. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, one in opposition. We have 5. Can't count today.
At the bottom of the page, item 23, ordinance calendar 35,473 by Councilmember McCarron. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit a commercial short-term rental in an SLM Lake Area Marina District in the transient lodging interim zoning district for Boathouse 85, whose dimensions are 25 feet fronting on Breakwater Drive and 25 feet fronting on the water and 80 feet in the length of the street side boundary within the municipal yacht harbor marina of Lake Pontchartrain. Municipal address 8114 Breakwater Drive, and otherwise supervisor respects thereto. Zoning docket 2326. Councilmember Morrell voted nay.
Thank you, members. This is the second one. Can I get a second? Seconded by Councilmember Harris. All those in favor? Any opposed? Nay. Same as last time. Councilmember Harris. Thank you.
Council members, going back to page 13, we have item 8, legislative group and zoning docket 4926, Property Doc LLC, requesting a conditional use to allow a vocational educational facility in the C1 General Commercial District on Square Deer Park, Section 24, Building 3, Unit 3D, Lot 3B, 8B, in the 3rd Municipal District bounded by Lake Forest Boulevard, Deer Park Boulevard, Deer Trail, and Farrar Canal. 10555 Lake Forest Boulevard, Suite 3D. The recommendation of the City Planning Commission being for approval subject to 2 provisos. We have motion M26-296 by Councilmember Hughes, approving the applicant's request for zoning docket 4926, subject to 2 provisos as recommended in the CPC report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. City Planning.
This is a request for vocational educational facility within a C1 General Commercial District. The vocational facility is called Cosmetic, Foot Care, and Medical Aesthetic Academy. It is to occupy an existing tenant space within an established office park. There's no exterior construction, no site modifications planned, and the use will function similarly to the other light-intensity medical offices that are located around this tenant space. It meets all of the applicable parking requirements, all of the other CZO requirement. The proposal complies with the master plan. Therefore, the Planning Commission recommended approval.
Thank you very much. Given its conformity with the comprehensive zoning ordinance, the master plan, and the lack of opposition from the community, I'd move approval. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Council President Morrell. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? 6 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
On page 19, we have item 25, ordinance calendar 35,478 by Councilmember Morrell by request. An ordinance to grant a non-exclusive wireless franchise to SQF LLC doing business as Verda to construct, maintain, operate, and authorize new wireless facilities on and under the public right-of-ways within the corporate limits of the city of New Orleans, with locations subject to approval of the grantor to provide for annual payments and the furnishing of a surety bond and otherwise to provide with respects thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This simply deals with a franchise agreement, a non-exclusive franchise agreement, and it typically wrote that we are granted by the City of New Orleans to parties in exchange for compensation payments and furnishing of bonds and the like. I move for approval. Can I get a second? Second by Council Vice President Willard. All in favor? Any opposed? Matter passes.
That was 5 yeas, no nays.
5 yeas, no.
6-1. Councilmember Hughes, step right.
Sorry, 6 yeas, no nays.
We have, on page 20, item 27, ordinance calendar 35,483 by Councilmember Morrell. An ordinance to require continued use of the city current enterprise resource planning system, BRAS, by the Orleans Parish Clerk of Court and otherwise to provide with respects thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Simply put, we had previously passed an ordinance that required the Clerk of Criminal Court to participate in the BRAS system. That position was abolished by the legislature and subsumed into the Orleans Parish Clerk of Court. This simply requires that in regards to the funding provided by the council pursuant to the former office of the Clerk of Criminal Court, that process still be included in BRAS. That's what it does. I'll move. Second by Councilmember Hughes. All in favor? Any nays? Hearing none, matter is passed.
At the bottom of the page, ordinance calendar 35,487 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. At the top of page 21, we have item 29, ordinance calendar 35,488 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. We have item 30, legislative grouping, ordinance calendar 35,491 by Councilmember Morrell. An ordinance to amend and reordain section 34-3, 3414, 3417, 3418, 3419, 3424, 3428, 3433, 3448, 3449 of chapter 34 and section 54-420 of chapter 54 of the Code of the City of New Orleans to provide relative to the regulation of carnival, including to increase the fine for violations of the provisions of Chapter 34. Under update requirements for parade permit applications and float parade elements to prohibit glass and smoking on floats and glass throws, to establish that violations of certain provisions constitute a criminal offense, constitutes a criminal offense, and otherwise to provide respects thereto. We have an amendment to ordinance calendar 35,491 by Councilmember Morrell. An amendment to ordinance calendar 35,491 to allowing the throwing of branded personal items, to clarify language, and otherwise to provide respects thereto.
Thank you. I apologize. This is the ordinance that deals with a variety of different issues regarding Mardi Gras. We had an extensive presentation yesterday on the Mardi Gras ordinance. Hold on one second. All right. Just so you can be aware, the general points that are clarified in this ordinance. One, there was an effort with the NOPD. Thank you. With the NOPD to clarify and change some of the times so that we can move some of the parades up. We did that last year. It resulted in a tremendous amount of cost savings for the city. We were able to reduce overtime, get officers, get sanitation workers, get EMS workers, everyone at home, back at home, to able to rest before going back out again. It requires crews to submit the names of their marching bands. Further, when it comes to marching bands, what we've noticed, part of the safety measures that keep the parade safe is not having numerous sporadic stops. When it comes to bands, when a float is stopped, they can stop and perform. What we saw as a concern, what NOPD saw as a concern, is that when bands would sporadically stop to perform kind of sua sponte, it would needlessly make the parade longer and create gaps in the parade. Those gaps can be dangerous, and at NOPD's request, we have eliminated the ability when the parade is moving for bands to stop on their own and stop and perform. We also changed the language regarding vehicular marching groups. We limited vehicular marching groups like the Shriners and the like to 3 per parade. We're also making those groups at least go 2 abreast because they also were creating extensive length in the parades, which are costly, expensive, and dangerous. When it comes to throws, we specifically, at the request of the Mayor's Mardi Gras Advisory Committee, allow for the tossing of things like different food items and other things that are pre-approved by the crews, as well as establishing weight limits to make sure that items being handed off of floats actually are things that will not create injury. Further, we ban the ability to hand out TVs or air fryers or other things which, though they seem cute at the time, 1, they're heavy and dangerous, and 2, they typically create a rush on the float, which could also be dangerous. We bar the use of glass items on the floats other than glass beads. As many of you know, there was an injury last year where a glass bottle flew off a float and hit a small child. There will be no glass on floats whatsoever, as well as banning smoking and all smoking-related activities, whether that be vaping or hookahs or the like, on floats themselves. Additionally, working with the NOPD had significant concerns on how to enforce certain aspects of the Mardi Gras statute. We have created misdemeanors as well as civil fines for certain violations of the Mardi Gras ordinance. That is what it does. There was an amendment in committee which further allowed for how we would regulate the display of manufacturer logos, because as you know, part of Mardi Gras is that we cannot have sponsored items thrown off of floats because sponsorship is not prohibited in actual Mardi Gras parades during the traditional Mardi Gras season. That is everything. Is there any cards from the audience?
Mr. Morrell, I have a comment.
Yes.
I just want to thank the New Orleans Police Department for making the recommendations that they've made. I want to thank you and the persons who are associated with making our Mardi Gras season as orderly as possible. I just want to appeal to the public to recognize that it's a carnival season. It's a season that's designed to provide an opportunity for everyone to have a good time. And if you've got obstructions to people having a good time, you know that you're in the wrong place in New Orleans. Taking gigantic bags of beads, for example, and throwing it at people because you don't feel like opening it, or putting ladders in place where you know it's blocking other views, or having grills, for example, with high flames where you know it could be a danger to children around, is not part of the Mardi Gras season, the carnival season. So I applaud these changes. I know that there will always be changes relative to the Mardi Gras season because it is a complex matter. But the bottom line is common sense and also enjoyment have to rule that season. It exists and it's so festive for a reason. It's because a lot of people want to enjoy themselves during that time. I just encourage those who are participating in the season to recognize the rights of others to just have a great time without being injured and without being assaulted and imposed upon. Thank you.
Thank you. I will move. Second by Councilmember Harris. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it is passed.
We have to vote as amended.
I'm sorry. I will move as amended, seconded by Councilmember Harris. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it is passed as amended.
At the top of page 22, ordinance count, item 32, ordinance count of 35,492 by Councilmember Harris by request, an ordinance to waive the requirements of section 70-12 of the Code of the City Code applicable to the cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of New Orleans and Mercy Partners LLC, approved on April 23, 2026 by ordinance number 30,642 MCS, the Mercy Partners CEA, and otherwise supervise respects thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there anyone from the administration to talk about this? Okay, seeing none, the Mercy Partners CEA will allow construction of water retention and control infrastructure on the site of the former Lindy Boggs Medical Center. Section 7012 of the City Code requires private developments to provide a fund match for any allocation of public dollars pursuant to a CEA. The CAO has requested a waiver of this requirement via letter to the council dated June 30th, 2026, noting that this waiver would be in the best interest of the city. The city is contributing roughly 10% of this project, and the remaining 90% will be private and other sources of funds. With that, I'll move. Can I get a second? Seconded by Councilmember McCarron. All in favor? Any opposed? 7 yeas.
We have item 33, ordinance calendar 35,500 by Councilmember Green by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the City of New Orleans to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of New Orleans and Tool Design Group LLC and foreign peers relative to the development, refine, and implement data applications to address the specific roadways safety problems for the Safe Streets and Road for All programs. The provision thereof is set forth more fully in the CEA Form Exhibit A and made part hereof, and otherwise to provide respects thereto.
To my fellow members of the council and also to the members of the public, this ordinance approves an amendment to recognize the merger of the Safe Streets Research Consulting into Fair and Peers. The amendment assigns all rights, duties, and liabilities previously held by SSR to Fair and Peers and ensures there's no interruption in services under the existing federal grant. The agreement supports the city's effort to advance implementation of the city's Safe Streets and Roads for All program, promoting public health and reducing traffic injuries and fatalities. Most important is to recognize that there is no fiscal impact to the city as the agreement is administered under the United States Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Roads for All grants, and the amendment extends the agreement through the end of this year, close to the end of this year, just through December 15, 2026. If there are no questions from the dais and also from the public and no comments online, I move for approval of 35,500. Seconded by Council Vice President Willard. Members, all in favor? Any opposed? 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you for your support.
At the bottom of the page, we have item 34, ordinance calendar 35,503 by Councilmember McCarron by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the City of New Orleans to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of New Orleans and the Sewage and Water Board New Orleans relative to the administration, planning, and construction of the Monticello Canal Culvert State Capital Overlay Project, as set forth more fully in CEA Form Exhibit 1 and made part hereof, and otherwise to provide respects thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members, this ordinance authorizes the mayor to sign a CEA between the city and the Sewage and Water Board to construct the Monticello Canal culverts. This project uses state capital outlay funding. There's no general fund money involved, and this CEA will grant SWBNO the ability to administer, plan, and construct the culverts. Unless there are any questions, can I get a second? Seconded by Councilmember Harris. All those in favor?
Aye. Any
opposed? Great. 7 yeas, no nays. Thank you.
At the top of page 23, we have item 35. It's been deferred. Motion line over M2644 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. We have item 36, motion line over M26242 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. We have item 37, motion line over M26272 by Councilmember McCarron. A motion directing the City Planning Commission to conduct a public hearing to consider amendments to ordinance number 4264 MCS as amended, the comprehensive zoning ordinance to implement with the certain modifications the Commission's recommendation as reported in its cannabis, tobacco, and nicotine study.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members, this is a marijuana text amendment. This stems from the study recommendations made in City Planning's recent cannabis, tobacco, and nicotine study. My office worked with City Planning, the Health Department, and other council staff on these recommendations. These recommendations also match proposed updates to the Smoke-Free Air Act. And I would just want to be clear, these recommendations must be reviewed by City Planning. This motion does not change the CZO language, and any amendments to the CZO will come at a later date after City Planning review. And I have one comment card from Susan Johnson.
Susan Johnson, 2822 LePage Street. I'm not paid to be here. Just Say Nix LLC we're involved in a lawsuit along with neighborhood organizations against 1407 South Carrollton. NOLA Cannabis Company planted a medical marijuana, so-called dispensary, it's not really a dispensary, at this location without required conditional use. And we are contesting that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about morality, this is about zoning. We've got activity like people smoking pot, using product in the parking lots, a lot of disturbances we won't get into because we don't want copycats. But despite Amy McCarron's intervention in the matter, Attorney John B. Davis, one of the investors, refuses to address the issues with neighbors who have children next door to this store. And so while the lawsuit is ongoing, even though the neighbors are not named plaintiffs. So this study is forward-looking. It could happen to you. We don't want this in our neighborhoods, this kind of activity. So 750-foot distancing recommended by the City Planning Commission because Louisiana has no distancing laws. Billboard right opposite CDC right now on Loyola Avenue. NOLA Cannabis.
Thank you, Susan. Members, are there any questions? Okay, with that, I move to approve motion number M26-272. Can I get a second? Seconded by Councilmember King. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 6 yeas, 0 nays. Thank you.
Council members, going back to page 20, we have item 26, ordinance calendar 35,479 by Councilmember King by request. An ordinance authorizing the acquisition by the City of New Orleans from the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority, NORA, of 900 Elmer Avenue, designated as a front portion of the lots 19 and 20 and square 260 in the 5th Municipal District, B909 through 15 Homer Street, designated as the rear portions of lots 19 and 20 and square 260 in the 5th Municipal District, C3617 3rd Street, designated as part of lot 15 and square 459 of the 4th Municipal District, D3621 3rd Street, designated as lots B, C, E, and F in square 459 of the 4th Municipal District, and E3623 3rd Street, designated as lot G in square 459 of the 4th Municipal District. Collectively, the NORA property is authorizing the transfer of land and improvements compressing 2021 Daniel Street, designated as lot A1 in square 293 in the 4th Municipal District, the city property, and otherwise to provide respects thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have Mr. Russell Blanchard.
Hello, Russell Blanchard, 811 Opelousas Avenue in Algiers. Just wanted to thank everyone for their support. This has been something our community has been working on for well over 10 years to create a new park and new green, safe place to play for the kids in Algiers. So there's been a lot of hurdles along the way, and we've had a few discussions in this chamber, but just wanted to thank everyone personally, and some of our board members are here in support of this, and just wanted to say thank you to Mayor Helena Moreno, thank you to Councilmember King, and the whole District C staff, past and present, with a special shout out to Mr. Chuck Toney. Thank you to Brenda Bro and Miss Tiffany Lawson with Nora, who's here today, who has been big supporters of this project. All along the way, we wanted to thank the Department of Property Management staff who's helped us tremendously, Mr. Trey Nobles, Ashley, and Miko, who did our site plan. Also, thank you to CPC Brownfields and Miss Carrie Godshow. Thank you to Larry Massey and Rachel Berg with the CPC who helped us in these chambers. Thank you to McKinley Essert and Missy Quigley with the legal department. Thank you to Craig Foundis with the Office of Community Development. And thank you to Miss Natasha Robinson with NORD, because this will be a NORD park once we have our ribbon cutting and install our play structure. Just want to also thank all our community members over the last 10 years who have helped us get this all the way to here with fundraisers and support. Thank you to former council member Palmer who helped us in years past. And an extra special shout out to Miss Rochelle Ulick, who's here today, who's been our champion for many years, pushing this through all these offices and halls. So thank you, Rochelle, for being such a big supporter. And we have a little gift for shirts that our board brought that she will hand out to y'all and y'all could distribute to your staff. We have many sizes, so y'all will work with those as y'all see fit. Don't want to get into shouting out t-shirt sizes right now. I'm sure y'all got a lot of business to do. But thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for y'all's support.
Thank you. We'll have someone come and get the t-shirts and pass them out. While that's being done, we have Miss Rochelle. He just pronounced the last name.
Rochelle Julich, Director of Strategic Property Initiatives for OCD. Just want to thank the council, Mayor Moreno, Councilmember King, and thank the Confetti Kids Board for their patience and their tenacity moving this park through to development. It's going to be really important for the children of Algiers, and it's been an honor to be a part of it. Thanks.
Thank you. Any comments from the dais or any online comments? All right, we're thrilled to bring this forward. We're thrilled to bring forward this act of exchange today to create a park for the children of Algiers. Confetti's The Lot Park project has been in the works for over 10 years. Algiers has a desert park. There were not enough parks to meet the neighborhood's need. Seeing the children's community, the Confetti Kids organization rallied to create a park for local children. They've raised the funds needed to purchase and install equipment. They've worked tirelessly, patiently with the city and NORA to make this exciting day happen. It's wonderful to see this public-private collaboration, see what this public collaboration can do. Special thanks to Mr. Russell Blanchard and the entire Confetti Kids Board for all the work they have done to bring us here today. With that, I move adoption. I have a second by Councilmember Harris. All in favor? Aye. 7 yeas, all opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
All right, council members, we're going back to page 19, item 24, ordinance calendar 35,477 by council members King and Harris by request. An ordinance to ordain and establish Chapter 70, Article 3, Division 56 of the Code of the City of New Orleans, consisting of Section 70-415.350 through 70-415.354, for the purpose of creating the Crescent City Connection Bridge Lighting Fund to manage funding for decorative bridge lighting, to ordain and establish Chapter 146, Article 14 of the Code, consisting of Sections 146 through 786 through 146-793, to provide relative to the maintenance operation and purchase by third parties of decorative lighting on the Crescent City Connection, and otherwise to provide respects thereto.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any public comments or online comments? All right. Councilman Harris, anything?
No, this simply sets up a fee structure to pay for the lighting on the bridge. Right now, we're doing it for free, and so if you want to light the bridge up in a special color, you got to pay for it.
All right. Thank you. The city entered into an agreement with LADOTD in October 2023 for the design and installation of a decorative lighting system on the Crescent City Connection Bridge in preparation for the Super Bowl. The city has programmed lighting on the bridge at the request of different entities without charging a fee. The intent for this new fund is to begin charging entities a fee for programming requests to generate revenue that can be used to maintain the decorative lighting. This will move adoption. Oh, can I get a second? Second by Councilmember Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7 yeas, no nays. Motion passes. Thank you.
At the top of page 24, we have resolution line over R26-275 has been deferred to the meeting of August 6th. We have item 39, motion M26-284 by Councilmember Morrell, directing the City Planning Commission to conduct a public hearing to consider amendments to ordinance number 4264, MCS amended by ordinance number 26413, MCS as amended the comprehensive zoning ordinance of the City of New Orleans regarding fence and wall regulations to add the neighborhoods of Lake Terrace and Lake Oaks to section 21.6.N.2A and to delete section 21.6.N4.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This request was brought on behalf of the Lake Terrace and Lake Oaks Neighborhood Associations in concert with my office and simply requires City Planning Commission to conduct a hearing to hear and consider amendments. That is what it does. Any comments?
Yes, I have a comment. Since it is my district, I just want those who have called me to ask me about this to understand that I completely support this public hearing and that this is an issue that has been continued from previous work that was done by the council member at large. So I'll look forward to hearing comments from the members of the associations with whom I meet relative to this matter. But I do appreciate you bringing forward so that the City Planning Commission can hear it.
Nope. Thank you very much. I'll move Councilman Green seconds. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it is approved.
At the bottom of the page, we have item 40, motion M26-285 by Councilmember Morrell. A motion recognizing the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, one of the worst man-made disasters in our nation history that caused inconceivable devastation and immense hardship and heartbreak here in New Orleans and throughout the Gulf Coast region.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members, this is the annual ordinance and motion that is filed to recognize Katrina as one of the worst disasters that happened in the city of New Orleans in the history of, the United States. That is what it does, just recognizes the anniversary. Second by Councilmember Willard. I move. Second by Councilmember Willard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it is approved.
Madam Clerk, Mr. President, can my name be added to that?
Actually, can I move to add, we'll add all the members as co-authors. Thank you.
At the top of page 25, we have item 41, motion M26-287 by Councilmember Morrell by request, ratifying, confirming, and approving the mayor's appointment of Damon LaBeouf, Vice Edward LaVert Jr. as a member of the Delgado Albany Plantation Commission effective on approval by the Council of the City of New Orleans for a term ending on June 30th, 2029. The questionnaire is received.
Thank you. This is a motion to approve Damon LaBeouf as a member of the most unfortunately named commission in the City of New Orleans. I will move. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember King. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
We have item 42, motion M26-288 by Councilmember Morrell by request, ratifying, confirming, and approving the mayor's appointment of Michael Carrigan, Vice Mark Coleman, as a member of the Delgado Albany Plantation Commission, effective upon approval by the Council of the City of New Orleans for a term ending on June 30th, 2030. Questionnaire was received.
Thank you. I will move. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember King. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, is approved.
We have item 43, motion M26-289 by Councilmember Morrell by request, ratifying, confirming, and approving the mayor's reappointment of Charlie Richard as a member of the Delgado Albany Plantation Commission, effective upon approval by the Council of the City of New Orleans for a term ending on June 30th, 2031. Questionnaire was received.
Thank you. I will move. Second by Councilmember King. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it is approved.
At the top of page 26, we have item 27, Motion M26-294 by Councilmember King by request, adding the president of council as a signatory to the subrecipient agreement between the City of New Orleans and Community Foundation Realty, Inc., and authorizing the president of council to sign the subrecipient agreement between the City of New Orleans and Community Foundation Realty, Inc.
Thank you,
We
Madam.
need to suspend Rule 57.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. We have the motion to add to the agenda now, right?
It's not added, we just suspended the
Okay.
rules past committee. Councilmember King could speak.
There you go, Councilman King.
I don't have anything. Make them, okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Morrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7 yeas, no nays. Motion passes. Thank you.
At the bottom of the page, we have item 45, motion M26-295 by Councilmember Morrell, requesting and authorizing the president of council to execute a Sixth Amendment to the professional service agreement between the City of New Orleans and Barstow, Houston, Copperman, Freeman, and Sever LLC, K26-505, extending the term for 1 year and increasing the maximum compensation payable under the agreement by $65,000, and B, to execute a Third Amendment to the professional service agreement between the City Council of New Orleans and Barstow, Houston, Copperman, Freeman, and Sever LLC, K26-461, extending the term for 1 year and increasing the maximum compensation payable under the agreement by $275,000. In addition to foregoing, any amendment authorized herein may contain such other provisions as may be necessary or desirable to accomplish the purpose of this motion and to ensure the continuity of services.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members, this simply authorizes the extension and continuation of SIRI contracts with the Barrasso, Houston, Copperman, Freeman, and Sarver firm. As you know, they represent us in a variety of ongoing cases, most notably the litigation against the Wisner heirs, and we do not want an interruption of that representation. I will move. Can I get a second?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your bringing this forward. The fact that we are moving for increases in the compensation available to the firm reminds me that in the conducting of city business, there are expenses that sometimes can't be avoided. It's a challenge to me to support increases for compensation for anyone while my employees and the employees of this office, the City Council office, are under a furlough. I hope that we can get from under that furlough as soon as possible. But the increases that we see that others have asked for in certain areas, I understand sometimes because costs go up. I just hope that the public will be recognizing that the council makes certain sacrifices in certain areas, and one of those is that we are on the furlough right now, our entire staff, and I look forward to them being able to be compensated again in the near future the way they should be. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So once again, I'll move, second by Council Vice President Willard. All in favor? All right. Any opposed? Hearing none, it is approved.
Can we get a motion to go into executive session?
I will move. Can I get a second? Second by Councilmember King. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, we're in executive session.
Before we get started, I'm going to ask the members of the Buffalo Soldiers family team to come forward to this right here for this table. Oh, uh-oh. Shoot. We have to officially do it that way?
To the table? Yeah, to the table. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Well, then let's
You
just
just told
make
me
sure.
that I have to do something.
Yeah.
Councilmember Green, we need to do a motion to reconvene first.
Can they just sit there?
Yeah, they're all walking in.
Just sit there and push us out.
Keller, ask him, and right here, over there?
Come on out.
Yeah.
What?
You better get it. All right, but you got a seat up here. Here, you want to come up and sit here? All right. I'm gonna catch this. Huh?
Sit right there.
What's going on, man? Yeah.
Come in there.
Good grandma. Good grandma.
It's amazing. Whenever, every time we only had a few of us, now we have too many.
I hear you.
You just woke up.
We gotta get a good picture.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Like you coach me. All right. Uh-oh.
Sabrina.
That chair is sitting there.
I think it was 20 of us. We couldn't fit in here.
Well, next year we'll be talking about.
One time over here was full.
Eugene will grab the shot.
No. 20 years. Yeah. Quite a ways in 20 years. We came quite a ways in 20 years.
I don't know what they got planned, but Anderson's really good. So.
Still growing.
Got a nice letter from the mayor yesterday.
Say, brother, can you stand that picture up, please, so the people can see Mr. Kemp? Please. Just stand right there. Look, I'm going to show you out there. There you go.
Whenever y'all ready. As your older yellow 7-4 brothers, don't do that. Don't do that. Your power, look what happened to that dude with Crockett. I swear when he got bonded for the divorce, he went from, the little vote he had went away. We're like, oh, you a black girl? No, I'm kidding. Every white progressive was like, that dude literally thought his own lost court house, still lost.
Yeah.
Like, that is a you got real money.
Yeah.
Trying to get involved with that.
This gives me the
Yeah, same image,
Did we agree?
Mario was like, this wasn't negative money, this wasn't nobody back. She needs money
Thank you so much. Okay, we have five. We have five. We have five.
We can make a motion to reconvene.
I'll move, seconded by Councilmember Green. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, we are reconvened.
We can make a motion to go to ordinance on first read. Okay. All right.
All right. My vote. Ordinance on first reads. Ordinance calendar number 35,504 by Councilmember Harris by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude and an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 145 Roosevelt Way to fix the minimum price in terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purpose, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,505 by Councilmember Harris by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant the servitude to an adjacent property owner of for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 1525 Britannia Street, to fix the minimum price in terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,506 by Councilmember Harris by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 1010 Girard Street, to fix the minimum price in terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,507 by Councilmember Harris by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 2816 St. Louis Street, to fix the minimum price in terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,508 by Councilmember McCarron by request, an ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 6 Newcomb Boulevard, to fix the minimum price and terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,509 by Councilmember McCarron by request, an ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 10 Newcomb Boulevard, to fix the minimum price of term of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,510 by Councilmember Green by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 1660 North Roman Street, to fix the minimum price in terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,511 by Councilmember King by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of public right-of-way located at the municipal address 221 Royal Street, to fix the minimum price and terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use is granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,512 by Council Members Morrell and Hughes. An ordinance to amend and reordain Article 19 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, ordinance number 4264 MCS, as amended by ordinance number 26,413 MCS, as subsequent amendments, to create a new interim zoning district to be named the Data Center Interim Zoning District, the intent of which is prohibit the issuance of an occupational license and otherwise to permit the operation of data centers citywide, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 3726. Ordinance calendar number 35,513 by Councilmember King. An ordinance to amend and reordain Articles 20 and 26 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, ordinance number 4264 MCS as amended by ordinance number 26,413 MCS and subsequent amendments, to add a new definition, park concession facility, and to add new on-site development standards for park concession facilities and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 4826. Ordinance calendar number 35,514 by Councilmember Harris. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit a standard restaurant in an HUB1 historic urban neighborhood business district, the CPC Character Preservation Corridor Design Overlay District, and the Magazine Street Use Restriction Overlay District on Square 236, Lot 14, and part of Lot 15 in the 6th Municipal District, bounded by Magazine Street, Bordeaux Street, Camp Street, and Lyon Street. The municipal address is 4807 Magazine Street, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 5226. Ordinance calendar number 35,515 by Councilmember Harris. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit a commercial short-term rental in a C2 auto-oriented commercial district and the transient lodging interim zoning district on Square 359 Lot C in the 1st Municipal District, bounded by Reverend John Raphael Jr. Way, Clio Street, Earhart Boulevard, and Ferret Street. Municipal addresses 1131 through 1133 Reverend John Raphael Jr. Way, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 5326. Ordinance calendar number 35,516 by Councilmember McCarron. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit a commercial use office over 5,000 square feet in floor area in an SLB2 Lake Area Neighborhood Business District on Square 22, lots 11 through 13, Homedale Park Annex in the second municipal district, bounded by Canal Street, Greenwood Street, Vicksburg Street, and Webland Street. Municipal address 5325 Canal Boulevard, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 5426. Ordinance calendar number 35,517 by Councilmember King. An ordinance to establish a conditional use permit a reception facility in an HUB1 historic or urban neighborhood business district on Square 766, Lot 1 in the 3rd Municipal District, bounded by St. Bernard Avenue, North Derby Street, London Avenue, New Orleans Street, and North Roman Street. Municipal address 1701 St. Bernard Avenue, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 5526. Ordinance calendar number 35,518 by Councilmember Harris. An ordinance to establish a conditional use permit a commercial short-term rental in a CBD2 historic commercial and mixed-use district and the transient lodging interim zoning district on Square 130, lots 14 and 15 in the 1st Municipal District, bounded by Natchez Street, Magazine Street, Porter Street, and Chapatula Street. Municipal address 422 Natchez Street, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 5626. Ordinance calendar number 35,519 by Councilmember King. An ordinance to amend and reordain Article 24, Section 24.13.G.3.D, retail facilities in the VCS and VCS1 districts of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, Ordinance number 4264 MCS, and amended by Ordinance number 26,413 MCS, and subsequent amendments, to alter the signage regulations for retail centers owned or controlled by a single entity, not anchored by or major department stores, unified by a specific architectural theme and consisting of a major public or private space with more than 55,000 square feet of enclosed gross leasable area devoted primarily to diverse retail, food, and entertainment facilities, and otherwise provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 5726. Ordinance calendar number 35,520 by Councilmember McCarron. An ordinance to effect the zoning change from an HURD2 historic urban two-family residential district to an HUB1A historic urban neighborhood business district, and to grant a conditional use to permit a standard restaurant as defined in Section 22.6 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of the City of New Orleans in the HUB1A Use Restriction Overlay District on Square 187, lots 1, 2, and 3 in the 6th Municipal District, bounded by Octavia Street, Laurel Street, Constant Street, and Jefferson Avenue. Municipal addresses 5430 through Laurel Street and 509 through 515 Octavia Street, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto zoning docket number 3026. Ordinance calendar number 35,521 by Council Members McCarron and Hughes. An ordinance to amend and redeem Chapter 159 of the Code of the City of New Orleans to establish a governance structure for the Sewerage and Water Board of New Orleans, including composition and role of the Board of Directors, regulations by the City Council, and related policies, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,522 by Council Members Harris, Morrell, Willard, McCarron, and Green by request. An ordinance to amend and reordain ordinance number 30,532 MCS entitled, an ordinance providing a capital budget for the year 2026 to effect the following change to the 2026 capital budget: to appropriate funds to the Chief Administrative Office, the Department of Parks and Parkways, the Department of Property Management, the Department of Public Works, the New Orleans Mosquito, Termite, and Rodent Control Board, the New Orleans Police Department, and the New Orleans Recreation Commission, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,523 by Councilmember Willard. An ordinance to amend and reordain sections 2-61 and 2-62 of the Code of the City of New Orleans to provide relative to periodic reporting by the Police Department on drone usage, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Ordinance calendar number 35,524 by Councilmember Willard. An ordinance to amend and reordain ordinance number 9650 MCS as amended by ordinance 11,152 MCS as amended, and as amended by ordinance 28,033 MCS, relative to the dedication of capital funds for works of art to provide for 1% of all future appropriations for eligible capital projects to be dedicated to the acquisition of art, to modify the scope of eligible capital projects and to provide otherwise with respect thereto. That concludes the ordinances on first readings.
At the top of page 27, we have special orders of business. First order of business, presentation, John Anderson, 9th Cavalry and 25th Infantry Regiments, Buffalo Soldiers of Louisiana, recognizing the 160th anniversary of the Buffalo Soldiers.
On today, we celebrate, in advance of July 28th, the 168th anniversary of the formation of the Buffalo Soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers were formed in 1866 with 6 regiments. They later became known as the Buffalo Soldiers. In July of 1992, President George H.W. Bush issued Proclamation 6461, which designated July the 28th, next week, as an annual day of recognition for the Buffalo Soldiers. Today we have gentlemen and family members who are strongly supportive of continuing to recognize the work of the Buffalo Soldiers, which is a historic group that paved the way for others to participate in the military, but also in society. Their bravery was commended. They participated in numerous battles, over in fact 200 operations, and also a number of members have been accepted and have received medals of honor. It's important for us to recognize history and to know that here in New Orleans, the 9th Cavalry Regiment, the first of the regiments to organize, was formed in New Orleans, and the 25th Infantry Regiment was also organized in New Orleans and served at Jackson Barracks for a year. The Buffalo Soldiers are trailblazers. We should be proud, or we are proud, of the work that has been done over the centuries involving this organization. And as we celebrate the 160th year since the formation, I just want to thank you all and brought you before the City Council so that my fellow members and the public could see you as we say thank you for continuing to share with us the history and the stories that make the Buffalo Soldiers what they are. So let's have a point person.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead, you started. Go ahead.
I will.
Okay.
My name is Richard Keller. I'm also a member of the 9th Cavalry and 25th Infantry of Louisiana Buffalo Soldiers. And today, really, we're honoring this young man here who was my father at the time, him and John Anderson and his wife that started this organization back in 2006. And at that time and space, they came before the City Council. They got a proclamation. They didn't get it the first time. They came back and they got it in 08, thanks to the help of Jackie Clarkson. It was pushed through, and we were given that day as Buffalo Soldier Day here in the city of New Orleans. This outfit has continued to teach this history, to let the children know of this great city, what these members have done and what they can do to keep the city a viable place for education and to right a lot of wrongs that have happened. This outfit is in honor of Mr. Moses Williams, Troop L, the Buffalo Soldiers, who actually lived in Carrollton, Louisiana, which was the city of Carrollton. And for his bravery as a Buffalo Soldier, he ended up being a sergeant, and his expertise were many. But at the same time, I would like to talk about my father, who actually was a World War II veteran and served as a Buffalo Soldier during World War II. He got to Normandy 4 days after the invasion. He became deaf because he was in charge of an armory that bombarded for, he said, at least 45 days. There was no equipment actually given at that time and space for ear protection. So he came back really partially deaf. But he never spoke about it until years later. He left us know a lot of the things that he did in supplying the guys that you know as the Red Ball Express. You know, he worked with a lot of Tuskegee Airmen. You know, but like he said, it wasn't all about him. It was about freedom. And today we're still fighting for it. I'm here with a group of people that want to keep the legacy of these men and women who served the armed forces, and we're still looking for the recognition that we should get from this nation.
Thank you for your father's service and also for keeping the legacy alive so that our young people especially, but everyone can know the history of our contributions, especially African Americans, to the security of this nation. Can we introduce ourselves? I want you all to come a little bit closer to the microphone as you do it so that the public can hear it, and just introduce yourselves starting left to right.
My name is Dennis Warren II, 9th Cavalry, born and raised here in New Orleans. And for those who don't know, the 9th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers are actually born in Greenville, Louisiana, which is actually Audubon Park. So if you walk out of the front door of Tulane University, straight across the street, that is where they were born, on that spot where there is a plaque. So if you'd like to visit it in Audubon Park, it's sitting right there, right up the walkway.
Thank you for sharing that history.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Anderson, co-founder of the organization back in 2006.
John Anderson, I'm one of the co-founders of the organization, and we started in 2006. I'm the president of the organization. We started this organization with my wife Barbara here, Mr. Keller here on the picture. He's passed away, but he's still with us. And let me say a little bit before just a little bit. We started this organization because the Buffalo Soldiers, as people know it, this is our history, Louisiana's history. It's New Orleans' history. The induction center was over at St. James AME Church. These same guys fought in the Spanish-American War. My wife here, her great-great-grandfather, Lieutenant
Louis Barnett.
He died in the Spanish-American War in Cuba. Our organization, we have done things in the community. We work in the community. We've clothed people. We've fed people, and basically, I guess I want us to know that the history of the Buffalo Soldiers, or the legend of the Buffalo Soldiers, did not start in Texas. This is Louisiana's history. It's ours. New Orleans, it's ours. And the 9th Cavalry was the most decorated regiment in the history of our country, even today. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you very much.
I'm Al Jackson from Tremere. My great-great-grandfather was part of the 73rd United States Colored Troops during the Civil War. And I'm proud to be as the Vice President of the Buffalo Soldiers 9th and 25th, along with Mr. Anderson and his wife, and my brothers here.
Thank you very much.
My name is Omar Kashmir, and my great-great-grandfather was a private in the Civil War. Also, I think I'm one of the few people I've met. I have relatives that fought in every war. Captains, generals, majors, and the most important war, I have 12 relatives in the 1812 Society. If we'd have lost that battle in Chalmette, which was our uncle's land, the Villeries, we'd be all English today.
You gotta remember my quote, huh? This stole my quote, bro.
Well, thank you very much for that thought. But I just want to thank all of you all for being here today and continuing the discussion. I mean, a lot of people don't know about the Buffalo Soldiers, and it's because it's not taught, really, if you will, in school. But there needs to be more of the sharing of the history, because it's a history of which we can be proud. It says something special about New Orleans and about Louisiana. And I'm pleased to have you all here today as we celebrate the 160th anniversary of the formation of the Buffalo Soldiers. Council members, would you like to add anything to the discussion? Good? All right. So go ahead.
I'd like to say one more thing. I'm also a representative of the National Conference of Orders. The last 2 weeks, I came here to City Hall. I think I put flyers in each one of your mailboxes. I had yet to hear from you all. So I'm here now, and I'm not asking to hear from you all now. I'm just like to know that you all know that we're going to do something here in September. We're bringing a national convention here up to Xavier University, and we would love to see some participation from the city.
All right, I think I confirmed with Charlie Johnson that I'll be a participant, and it's up to fellow council members, but thank you for mentioning that.
Yes.
Ms. Montana,
we missed 2 members.
would you all quickly introduce yourself before we close out? Come on over. Even though you're not at the table, everyone, the public should know that you're here.
Good morning. Good morning. Glad for the opportunity. My name is Stanley Taylor. I am currently the commander of the DAV Chapter 15 here in New Orleans, and I'm also a third-generation member of the military, and I have 2 family members on active duty right now.
Thank you. Ms. Montana. What? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. What did I say, Montana?
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Rita Mays, I was inducted earlier
That's right.
this year,
That's right.
and the history continues. My father was an original, they called him Smokey Juniper. He was a paratrooper in World War II. Yeah.
Smoke jumper.
Thank you all very much. I don't want you to leave. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Al Grandois, an invited member of the Buffalo Soldiers, and my participation is also not only to preserve historical context, but specifically the historical and cultural relationships or connections between Haiti and New Orleans. I am Haitian descent, first generation, born in America, and my connections to historically is my great-great-grandfather, 8 generations separated, was a general who fought in the Haitian Revolution and is honored for his contributions in Haiti's independence. And so I am very delighted and welcome to be part of preserving this historical context and the relationships between Haiti and New Orleans within the context of
Thank you.
Our shared history.
Thank you very much, and it's an honor for me to be here present today to celebrate with you all and to celebrate the history. I want you all to do me a favor. Don't leave. I want you to go to the front row and stay. We're going to take photos together with whatever council members can take photos. We're going to recognize the American Heart Association's Physician of the Year right now, but you all, I want you to be a part of that celebration. So please hang around, all right? Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
May I offer, on behalf of the guys and ladies here, to Councilman Willard, our deepest condolences.
Yes.
Yes.
And I knew Prof from Clark High School. He taught me a lot of lessons.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We would like to thank you all for letting us come today. And, well, thank you for all of your support.
You're welcome. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you guys for what y'all do for us.
Yes.
Say again?
I said thank you all, our council, for what you do for the city.
You're welcome. I'm going to take the photo right after the presentation of Dr. Ferdinand.
Second order of business, presentation, Dr. Keith Ferdinand. Recognizing local physician Dr. Keith Ferdinand, who is named National Physician of the Year by the American Heart Association.
Did you all hear that title? The National Physician of the Year, right here in New Orleans, who has helped so many people, not only from the standpoint of health, but also as a social engineer, someone whose family is involved with making positive changes in our city. It just is important for us to recognize persons such as Dr. Ferdinand, who are heroes in their own rights, but especially with the receipt of this national recognition. So, Dr. Keith Ferdinand, thank you for being here today. I have a proclamation for you. I didn't mention I have a proclamation for the Buffalo Soldiers too, but we'll talk about that. But Dr. Keith Ferdinand, congratulations on being the recipient of the American Heart Association's 2026 Physician of the Year Award. As a physician, educator, and mentor, we salute you for having spent decades advancing heart health, serving the New Orleans communities, and training future physicians at Tulane University Medical School, amongst the other tremendous accomplishments that you have shared with our fellow citizens. So congratulations to you, and I'll ask you to introduce the young lady next to you and a few remarks.
Thank you, Councilman Green and the other members of the council. This is my wife, Dr. Daphne Ferdinand. And the reason I asked her to come up is not just because she's my spouse, but throughout my career, anything that I've done has been done in partnership with my wife. We started in the 9th Ward with Heartbeats Life Center. Like many people in New Orleans, we lost everything in Katrina. But I returned from Emory University in Atlanta to come back to New Orleans to help this great city.
And we're so glad that you did, and you've made tremendous contributions. You've been through a lot, but it was great that you started in the 9th Ward, and your family maintained its ties to the. You can use names if you want. I don't know, sometimes people don't want their names mentioned. Tell me about your daughter.
Yeah, all members of my family, yes. my parents, my late parents were great. My father was an Army sergeant, both World War II and Korea, and he taught us discipline, get up, be on time, do your work, do your job. My mother was a teacher in the segregated school system here in New Orleans, and she fought for equal pay for the black teachers with their union before it was eventually disbanded after Katrina. My other brother, Kalamu Salam, is a writer, poet, activist, and Kenneth worked for the health department and the French market. My wife, Daphne, as I mentioned, has been working by my side in public health and direct service to the people. And my children are all very active. Rashida is here. She has the Sankofa Community Development Center in the lower 9th Ward, helping bring fresh foods and develop some of the wetlands. Not too far from where I grew up, St. Maurice and Law. And I often state that New Orleans doesn't appreciate what it has. I've been around the world, been able to lecture in all the major continents, except Antarctica. I'm gonna let that one go. And people will say, oh, you're an American. I say, yeah. I say, where you from? And I'll say New Orleans. And whether it's the Great Wall of China or South Africa, Egypt, Greece, Australia, everybody knows New Orleans.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time how special New Orleans is. And being here today, recognizing the National Physician of the Year from the American Heart Association and all the decades that you've helped people and helped them with their health and with their adjustments and participation in society. It's greatly appreciated. Members, any comments?
I just appreciate everything you've done, Dr. Ferdinand. There's no one in the New Orleans community who's involved with not just community organization, but heart health, especially promoting health and healthy habits in the African American community, has not met you or worked with you. And I do appreciate you pointing out how so special New Orleans is. Thank you.
Just want to thank you and congratulate you, Dr. Ferdinand. The city of New Orleans is blessed to have you as one of its residents, as a New Orleanian. So I want to thank you for everything that you've done, not only in our community, but for the entire world. And thank you for sharing the fruits of your family tree, because your daughter's group doing amazing work down in the 9th Ward. And so we're happy to have you in this special city. And I just want to thank you and congratulate you again.
I would like to say one more thing, is that sometimes we are underwhelmed by our accomplishments in New Orleans. We talk about all the bad things. And I appreciate the fact that the council has taken time to try to not just uplift me, but the idea that a little boy from the lower 9th Ward would be named the National Physician of the Year. There are tens of thousands of doctors. Tens of thousands of doctors. And for the organization to recognize me, I really think is an appreciation for how we as people have struggled and overcome here in New Orleans. It wasn't a nomination process. There were no letters of recommendation. I didn't call anybody, put in a good word for me. I'm going about my business and just got a call out of the blue. So when people from the outside can look at us to see what's good, hopefully we can see it in ourselves and strive to do better.
Boy, that was a great way to end this. That was a great way to end this. That's the message. That's the message that we need to talk more in New Orleans. Thank you very much. Councilmember McCarron.
I'll just say also congratulations. It's an honor that you were, a great honor, I'm sure, to have this. My husband is a physician. I know how hard you all work day in and day out taking care of people in your community. So congratulations. And also congratulations to the Buffalo Soldiers too. Thank you for your work on continuing to educate the next generation on the important history that you all bring to our city and to our state. So appreciate you guys as well.
Thank you very much. Council members, please join me for a photo. Buffalo Soldiers, hold 1 second. You're a little bit larger. We're going to take a photo right in front with Dr. Ferdinand, Mrs. Ferdinand, and Rashid, and everybody else who's associated with the family. And then we're kind of going to do a photo involving us all. Come on, Doctor. We're going to do that way? Okay.
Can we make a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn, second by Councilmember Green. No opposed, we're adjourned.
Green. Yes, hey, I was trying to come.